After nearly 2 years of relentless war, a single phone call changed everything. Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, "Bibi, this is your chance for victory." Within hours, Israeli airstrikes halted. Hostage negotiations are now moving to Cairo, with Hamas tentatively on board. But political storms in Jerusalem and lingering violence in Gaza mean the clock is ticking, and the peace Trump promises could unravel in an instant. After nearly 2 years of Gaza war, a phone call changed everything. According to Axios, on October 3rd, Donald Trump picked up the phone and told Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu to stop the strikes and move quickly to finalize the peace deal. Within hours, Israeli airstrikes ceased. By the weekend, negotiators were getting ready to board a plane to Cairo. And by Monday morning, Israel and Hamas will sit down for their first formal talks. Speaking to Axios on October 4th, Trump did not mince words about his conversation with Netanyahu.
I said, "Bibi, this is your chance for victory." He was fine with it. He has no choice. With me, you gotta be fine. We had great receptivity for our plan. Every country of the world in favor. Bibi is in favor. Hamas went a long way. They want to do it. Now we will need to close it.
Trump told Axios the war in Gaza isolated Israel internationally and stressed that one of his goals in ending it is to restore Israel's international standing.
Bibi took it very far and Israel lost a lot of support in the world. Now I am going to get all that support back.
Trump also expressed his gratitude towards Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, stating he pressed Hamas to move forward with the release of hostages.
Erdogan helped a lot. He is a tough guy, but he is a friend of mine and he was great.
A US official told Axios that Trump spoke to Erdogan on Friday, ahead of Hamas's response, and asked him to make sure Hamas didn't say no. Trump intends to finalize the deal within days, and he's putting his top people on it. His envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner were already en route to Egypt over the weekend to hammer out the technical details. A senior White House official told Axios the goal was to ensure swift implementation once all sides meet in Cairo. On the same day, Egypt's foreign ministry announced that indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas would begin on Monday in Sharm el-Sheikh, marking the first formal step toward executing the US brokered plan. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on October 4th, Israel is on the verge of a very significant achievement, and he hopes to announce the return of the hostages held by Hamas soon.
We are on the verge of a very significant achievement. It's not final yet. We are working on it diligently, and I hope, God willing, that in the coming days, even during the Sukkot holiday, I will be able to announce the return of all our hostages, both the living and the fallen, in one phase, with the IDF remaining in the depth of the Strip and in the areas that control it.
Although negotiations are not final yet, Netanyahu said in a video statement that he was hopeful that he'll announce the return of all the hostages, both the living and the fallen. With the negotiations team set to leave for Cairo, Netanyahu said he instructed them to make the process as short as possible, as the US President Trump will not tolerate stalling tactics, delays, or evasions by Hamas.
I instructed the negotiation team, led by Minister Dermer, to go to Cairo to finalize the technical details of the release of our hostages. Our intention and the intention of our American friends is to limit this negotiation to just a few days. And you heard President Trump this evening. He said clearly, "We will not tolerate stalling tactics, delays, or evasions by Hamas."
Netanyahu outlined the two-phase structure of the Trump plan. In the first phase, Hamas would release all Israeli hostages while the IDF maintained control over Gaza's depth zones. In the second phase, Gaza would be demilitarized, either through diplomacy or continued Israeli military action.
In the first stage, Hamas will release all our hostages, and IDF forces will be redeployed in a way that the IDF continues to hold all the areas that control the depth of the Strip. I hear that there are those who say today that Hamas was already willing a year ago, or even 2 years ago, to release all our hostages without us withdrawing fully from the Strip. Well, I tell you, that is simply a lie. Now, in the second phase, Hamas will be disarmed, and the Gaza Strip will be demilitarized. This will happen either through diplomatic means, according to the Trump plan, or militarily by us. I said this in Washington as well.
Despite Netanyahu's optimism, his move to pause offensive operations drew fierce criticism from within his own government, particularly from far-right coalition partners. Israeli news outlet Walla reported that Netanyahu met with National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich for roughly 2 hours on October 5th evening, amid threats of political fallout over the Gaza ceasefire directive. Ben-Gvir, leader of the Otzma Yehudit party, warned that his faction would withdraw from the coalition if Hamas continues to exist after the hostage release. Finance Minister Smotrich issued an even sharper rebuke, calling Netanyahu's decision to halt the offensive a grave mistake.
The Prime Minister's decision to halt the attack in Gaza and conduct negotiations for the first time without being under fire is a grave mistake and is a sure recipe for Hamas stalling for time and a growing erosion of the Israeli position, both with respect to the release of the hostages in one fell swoop within 72 hours and with respect to the central war goal of eliminating Hamas and completely demilitarizing Gaza.
Smotrich argued that the halt in fighting provided Hamas an opportunity to regroup and weaken Israel's bargaining position. Meanwhile, media reports indicate a noticeable slowdown in Israeli strikes following Trump's order. The Associated Press quoted Gaza residents who said Israeli tanks and troops had not advanced since October 5th morning, though sporadic artillery and airstrikes persisted. According to the Israel Defense Forces, airstrikes were stopped except for those required for force protection. President Trump expressed appreciation for Israel's decision to temporarily halt bombings, saying, "I appreciate that Israel has temporarily stopped the bombing in order to give the hostage release and peace deal a chance to be completed. Hamas must move quickly or else all bets will be off. I will not tolerate delay, which many think will happen, or any outcome where Gaza poses a threat again. Let's get this done fast. Everyone will be treated fairly." Mohammed Abu Selmia, director of Shifa Hospital, told AP that bombing had significantly subsided over the past day. Under Netanyahu's directive, Israeli forces surrounding Gaza City remained stationed in their positions, not withdrawing, but refraining from further ground advances. The IDF maintained that it was still conducting defensive operations, warning Palestinians against returning to the city, which it described as a dangerous war zone. Despite the partial halt, at least 18 Palestinians, including children, were reportedly killed in continued strikes in Gaza City's Taffa neighborhood, according to local reports cited by AP.